Oh, where did Hi, hello. My name is Lauren Durs, and I'm so excited that everyone is here today. Today we are going to chat about integrating Learning Blade into Safari Montage. So let me share my screen. We are talking about empowering educators with computer science and the coaches support. My name is Lauren. I do work for Learning Blade. If you don't have a Learning Blade account, you can sign up for one at learningblade.com/sc. But let me do a quick overview of our agenda for today. So we're going to do some brief introductions of Paige, myself, and Sherry. And then we're going to do an overview of what the Safari Montage Instruction Hub offers. And then we're going to do a really quick overview on Learning Blade and what the coaches offer. Now to get started, we're going to kick off with some introductions. Paige, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Paige Mitchell. I am with the South Carolina Department of Education in the Office of Instructional Materials. I work specifically with the Instruction Hub and any other forms of instructional technology that our office brings in, and always happy to help in those areas.
Thank you. Sherry, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Sherry Smith. I also work with the South Carolina Department of Education, and I am in the Office of Career Readiness. My role is one as a computer science regional coach. There are 4 of us supporting the state. So we are here to help you and your students, all things computer science. And as you know, many of those things involve STEM and just careers in general.
And I am Lauren Duras. I'm the state manager for Learning Blade in South Carolina. Learning Blade is free, fully funded through the South Carolina Office of CTE and Career Readiness. And at Learning Blade, we focus on exploring careers with middle school students, which you'll learn a little bit more about later. So I'm going to pass the mic off over to Paige, and she is going to tell us all about what Safari Montage offers.
Perfect. All right, so just to kind of give a little background, the Instruction Hub or Safari Montage is a repository of resources that everybody in the state of South Carolina in public education have access to use in their classroom and use with their students for the instruction that they're already doing. We have the ability to search, and I'll take you through a couple of those steps, and then I'm going to take you live into the platform in just a little bit to kind of go through what it looks like on an actual account. And then you have videos in this slideshow that you can reference back to as you're trying to remember all of the things. Go ahead, Lauren. If you don't know how to get into the access to the Instruction Hub, you can go to the department webpage under Instruction Hub and find my district access map, and then select your district, and there's a specific URL that you can choose from that will give you the resources for your district. If you have ClassLink or Clever, you can always check those spots to look for Safari Montage or the Instruction Hub. And in July of 2025, we will be implementing ClassLink across the state of South Carolina and a feature called SC Learn that will have all of our state provided resources in that section. So that's coming, but you can still access the resources right now. Couple of ways to access the Learning Blade resources is to use the search feature or the magnifying glass and the curriculum feature on the dashboard of the Instruction Hub. What you see on the screen is an example of a dashboard at a district in South Carolina, and then those 2 tools are kind of magnified to help guide you to where those resources are. Couple of ways to access resources in that search feature. We have the keyword search. I mean, you can type anything into that keyword search that you're studying. So if you are studying car manufacturing is one that I used in the video, you type that in, hit that magnifying glass, and all of the resources, Learning Blade and beyond, are going to come up for you to have access to. So you can type anything, a unit that you're studying, specific keywords, kind of that metadata field that you're looking for, and those resources will pop up for you to use. You can also search by publisher, and the publisher dropdown has hundreds of publishers that you can choose from. You just kind of find which one you're looking for, and then you'll click on that one and the magnifying glass again, and it will take you to the resources that are available. So if I just choose Learning Blade and click that magnifying glass, you'll see over hundreds of resources that you can look at and on different topics. You can then take these and turn them into playlists or use them directly for your students. And I'll walk you through all of that in just a minute. And then the next feature that I'll share with you is that you can search by standards. And this is a pretty powerful tool for our teachers in South Carolina. All of the standards are in there and available. You just kind of click on which one that you want, find the grade span, and then take it down to the indicator level. If anything is correlated to the standard that's there, you will see it in blue over on this side, and then all of those resources for that standard are going to pop up. I did give you a math example in this one, but that just kind of guides you through how you can see the resources that are out there and available for you. And again, you can play these directly from your device to share with students. You can build them into a playlist. You can also share them in the LMS to your students so that they have the ability to see all of the features and resources that are there. What's next, Lauren? And then we have the course search feature. So in that magnifying glass, if I click search by course resources and then departments, there's going to be a drop down of the different departments that are available. This is my dashboard that you see, so you may have not as many as I do, and that's okay. It just depends on what classes are being taught, but you click into that specific area that you want, and then it digs deeper into specific lessons and tools, and then it will take you directly to those resources. So instead of having to search through all of the Learning Blade resources or look for that specific title, I can just come in and look for those specific resources that are there. Again, I will walk you through all of this live in just a second. And then you also have the ability to search, go ahead to the next one, in that curriculum button. So if I choose curriculum from the main dashboard page, it gives me those same subjects that are going to pop up. And then it's just going to look like a little bit of a different format for how the resources are available. And I can just click in, choose which one I want to use, and then choose the resources. So under guidance, learning resources, and those features will pop up for you to have access to. I'm going to go ahead and take you live into my dashboard. And here,
Should be able to share now.
yeah, hopefully it won't show all 9 tabs that I have open. So I have a problem with that. This is my dashboard. Can you guys see that? Perfect. So I'm on my dashboard of the department. So I may have things that you don't have, and that's perfectly acceptable. If I start in the magnifying glass or the search feature and click on that, this is where I find that keyword search. Type in what I'm looking for. I can choose that magnifying glass. I can also take it down by grade range. I keep mine typically at all grade range just to see what they have, but I can change it to higher grades and maybe see what's a little above, a little below. But just by typing in that keyword, I immediately pulled up 178 resources that I have available to use. So it's going to show Learning Blade, but it's also going to show additional resources that are there. From here, if I click on this Learning Blade resource, I have the ability to play it just from my dashboard. I can also add it to a playlist, meaning I take additional resources and drop them together into one section so that all of the pieces are there. I'll just click today, and it adds it directly to that. And then later I have the ability to push that playlist out to students. So think about e-learning days or just extra days that you need to have them working on tools. You have that ability. You will also see your LMS here. Our LMS at the department is Teams, so that's what you see. But if you're Google Classroom or Schoology or Canvas, you have those features that will pop up there, and you can share the resources. So she's sending it directly to the LMS to the students for them to complete the activity, and then it will grade it. And as long as you have Google Classroom, Schoology, or Canvas, it grades it and has the grade pass back feature that's available there. You will have to make sure that your district has LTI 1.3 set up on their end for that grade passback to work, but those features are there. We have tested it with a few districts in South Carolina and have seen wonderful results, and it just takes a little bit of that burden off of teachers that are there. Again, I'm going to take you into that search and we're going to look at the publisher search this time. So again, I can scroll through all of the hundreds and hundreds of resources that we have by different publishers, find what I'm looking for. I always test my alphabet skills when I'm looking for specific things. So find Learning Blade, hit that magnifying glass and give it a second, but it will pull all 659 resources that are there and you've got them right at your fingertips to look through and have access to. If I wanted to look at an example of what it does, if I hit play, it takes me directly into that Learning Blade account and it sets it up just like what it would look like if you go in through Learning Blade to access those resources. The other way we talked about is looking at those course resources. So over here, when I click department, you see all of the many resources and courses that we have listed. If I were to click on a specific one, we'll do information technology. You see that there's different Learning Blade missions that are a part of that. And I can keep going deeper into the actual piece and pull up those tools. If I were looking at social media, I can click that magnifying glass and the resources for social media are going to pop up for me directly right here. So instead of having to think, oh, what's the keyword I need to type in or what am I looking for? You have that ability in that course feature to search through and find those resources. And again, the same tools apply. It's coming in and adding it to a playlist or sending it to the LMS, whatever works best for you.
Paige, can
This
you share a little bit more about creating a playlist and why a teacher might make a playlist?
Sure. So let's say I want to create a playlist and drop pieces together. So maybe I'm going to use a Learning Blade video. Let me go back and restart my search and just do this one again. So maybe I'm studying car manufacturing. So when I type that in, I see that I've got 178 resources. I can choose this video from this piece from Learning Blade. I can click, it's already added to that playlist that I created. And then I could come in here and find additional videos. So maybe I want something by Discovery Ed or National Geographic. I choose this one. I can come in and look at that resource and see what's there. One thing to note is this does say it's 22 minutes. That can be overwhelming in the life of a teacher because we only have so much time to teach instruction. But the videos are broken down into chapters and key concepts. So you don't have to share that whole 22-minute video. You can come in and grab just maybe a 1-minute section of the video right over here. Click add it to a playlist. My today playlist is active, so I'm going to continue to add that. And then any other resources that I want to go in and add, I can. And then later I can come through and look at that playlist. It was right up here in the top right of my screen. See the resources that I've added. I can also come in here and edit and completely make it, fill it with objectives, fill it with essential questions, fill it with a description, all of those resources. Maybe I'm building this for another teacher that's also going to use it, putting those teacher prep notes in and student instructions. This is where it becomes powerful because students, once it's sent to them, they have the ability to use immersive readers. So if you've got English language learners in your class that might need a little additional assistance, you have that ability in hundreds of languages that they can have those resources. I find that very powerful, especially on e-learning days when we send assignments to students and then they have to complete them at home. And maybe they're proficient, but their parents are not. And this kind of helps give that little bit of extra piece that's in there. You will see that our wonderful CTE department is building playlists out. They are working on fundamentals of computing right now. So I'll give Sherry and her team a huge shout out because it's a huge undertaking. But just an example is that they built the personal finance course out, and you will see in that personal finance course kind of what everything looks like broken down into having all of those features that are added. Get to this just to kind of show you how it has the objectives, teacher prep notes, student instructions, and then all of those learning resources that are down there. And so eventually when we share with students, their playlist would look like this, where those notes are going to be on the side. and you have that ability to have that immersive reader pops in. Mine says teacher prep notes because do have an admin account. Students do not see what teacher notes are put in there. They only see the notes for themselves. And then this is also broken down so that it only shows what slide is there as far as the information instead of overwhelming them with the information that's there. So lots of things that you can do with that playlist. And it kind of is like a movie in your mind, is like how I like to kind of say that it looks like instead of having just a document of links to go to, they actually see a visual of something that's there. The standards feature is up here at the top in the blue bar. You can come and choose for any of the standards that are loaded into the system, tons and tons of them to look for, and then click that search button and you'll see all of those standards will pop up and any correlation will also show up there. And then finally, I'm going to show you this curriculum view. So if I click on those books on that main dashboard page, those same departments are going to pop up over here. I can click into information and technology courses. If I click fundamentals of computing, you see it's being built. So you may not see things there. Let's see manufacturing. If I come in here, um, I can go, you see I have tools and teammates. So it's the same setup. It just looks a little bit different. And this does allow for maybe your curriculum department or your teams to come in and make edits to how they want things to look. They can add in things like those essential questions, those types of things that are a part of that. And let's go to this one. And you'll see the descriptions, the standards, and then the guidance are there. And there's our learning resources that we click on. Those Learning Blade resources pop up. And again, we have those tools at the bottom that we can use to play them, to add them to a playlist, or to share with their LMS. And LMSs are configured by what your district states that you have. If you've got more than one, so some districts have maybe Google Classroom and Schoology, that you need them configured, you just have to let me know, and I'm happy to make sure that that configuration is set up for those teachers that have access to the different LMSs that are out there. But once you get in and start the deep dive into it, you see that there are tons of resources that are available for you. You're always welcome to reach out to me for any assistance or any additional questions you have on the Instruction Hub. And just look for July for that kind of new way of looking and how to access the tools, which will put something out for you then also. Anything else, Lauren, before I turn it back over to you?
We just have one more slide for us to take a peek at. If
Let me stop sharing.
yeah, give me sharing back. So one last thing from Paige was that LMS integration here.
Yes, so you have the South Carolina uses Google Classroom, Schoology, Canvas, and then there's a few that have Teams. So if you have Google Classroom, Schoology, and Canvas, you have that grade pass back feature that's built in. So the student completes the assignment and then the grade comes back to you as the teacher. So you're not having to go through and grade things. The big thing is making sure that you have LTI 1.3 set up. We have been trying our best to ensure that it's set up, or contacting districts to make sure that that piece is in there. So if you see some things you're like, grade pass back isn't working, let us know. It could be a Safari problem. It could be a Schoology problem. Um, and then for as far as getting that icon to show up, the Schoology integration has to start in Schoology. So you start in the Schoology platform, you add resources, and then you have the Safari Montage option to pop up, and that populates that little button to add those resources in there. And typically how you would add things through Schoology anyways. But lots of great tools for you to use, and the integration has done really well, and we've seen lots of growth in the last month, just from the usage that everybody's using.
Yeah, we've heard really great things. We've gotten great feedback from educators on grade pass back working. I was just talking to someone in Richland 5 and they were like, oh my gosh, this is life-changing. Not having to manually input all of my grades from Learning Blade into my LMS. So that has been really exciting. And then, Paige did mention the accessibility features, and those have been awesome, especially for our English language learners, to have that content available in other languages. The immersive reader has been really supportive. So we're so excited excited to see some of those features integrated within Learning Blade's content. Awesome. So we are going to hop into a little bit about Learning Blade. So Learning Blade itself is, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's free. It's completely funded in South Carolina through the Office of CTE. And we work really closely with them to make sure everyone knows what resources are available to them. So Learning Blade is all about that middle school career exploration. So Learning Blade is aligned to all of the content standards for grades 5 through 9, but our content goes well beyond 9th grade. A lot of educators use our content in finance courses and things like that. But at Learning Blade, we're all about that career exploration piece. So we always say you can't be what you can't see. So think about back when you were 13, 14, 15, kind of thinking about what you wanted to be. I know I wanted to be a marine biologist because I thought that was one of my only options. But I grew up in Ohio and I knew that wasn't going to be an option for me later on. And then I entered the teaching field. So when we think about our students and what we want them to know and how we want them to be able to explore careers, that's where Learning Blade comes in. At Learning Blade, we have 13 missions. Our missions are very engaging. We've got an online content, like Paige was mentioning, all available through Safari Montage Instruction Hub. We also have offline content as well. So we right now have 13 missions. We are coming out with a secret 14th one next year that we're very excited about. But right now we have 13 missions. Our newest one is our Building Submarines mission. That one was done through a contract with the Navy where we talk about advanced manufacturing. We're talking about programming, automation, all those cool things. From there, some other really popular ones that we have are just the one all the way at the bottom, our Hack Attack mission. That is going to be our computer science focused mission, because I do hear middle schoolers say all the time, I'm going to be a hacker when I grow up. Do you know what that means? So in here, we do talk about what hacking means and all that good stuff. Like Paige pointed out, our car manufacturing mission is very popular. It's my personal favorite. We also have our rescue robots one, which is a really cool new way for students to think about how we can use robots to help solve common problems. And then also our fresh food is all about agriculture, and our heart surgery is going to be surrounding those medical careers. Now, thinking about what Learning Blade's content looks like, we have over 450 online lessons. Each one of our online lessons about 10 to 15 minutes. And we also have career videos where students get to learn about what those roles look like, what those people's day looks like, what their work environment is, what their certifications and degree requirements are, and what their salary bands are. So students get to really kind of see, the skills and what that work environment looks like. And they get to evaluate, is that something that I want for myself? Now, to go with our online content, we do also have offline resources available as well. So if you've had a 3D printer sitting around for a while, you're not really sure what to do with it or how to help your teachers get started with it, we have over 15 different 3D printing activities. We also have hands-on mission challenges. So if you need your students to do something hands-on here at the end of the year, those are great to get started with. We have parent handouts. We have design thinking, which is going to be like that engineering process. So if you have any engineering classes in your buildings, or maybe new teachers that are teaching engineering, those are perfect to get started with. Because ultimately, a lot of teachers who teach engineering have never been an engineer. So this is a great place for them to get started with some of those courses. And then we also have paper craft figures, which look like little Minecraft people. They're very funny. They're very funny to watch middle schoolers put together. But all of our content is supportive of the standards. It's all aligned to the standards. We do have lessons that are aligned with each different subject area: math, science, ELA, and social studies. So if you have a history teacher that wants to incorporate some career exploration, definitely send them to Learning Blade. Now, our content is very supportive of the fundamentals of computing courses that are out there. The AI courses, coding courses, basics of computing courses, and really any sort of content area course. I just did a whole 3-part math series on how to use Learning Blade in a math classroom. So we've got all sorts of content. This is that Hack Attack mission that I had mentioned before. So you can see with each mission, there are 5 tools and 5 teammates. Those tools are the orange headings and the teammates are the green headings. And then nestled underneath each one of those are the individual lessons that are aligned with that content area. So there are 4 lessons that go with each tool, and there are 5 lessons that go with each teammate. Each lesson is only about 10 minutes long. So we're talking about bell ringers, early finishers, those e-learning days, those, oh no, we had an assembly and now we've got 7 minutes left. What do I do days? That's where Learning Blade can come in. It's really easy to use and integrate into your classroom. It is very fast to implement and students pick up on it really quickly. Just yesterday, I was in a classroom and I had students saying, I love Learning Blade because I got to see what a user experience designer does. I love Learning Blade because I got to learn about dolphins during the dolphin rescue mission and I want to be a marine biologist. Or I realized being a marine biologist is not for me because I burn really easily. So we've had lots of students realize what kind of careers they might be interested in through our content. Now, underneath each teammate, so the teammates are the different careers. Underneath each teammate, you can see that there is one video, and that video is the one that is going to show students kind of those degrees, certifications, and salaries. Now, each one of these lessons is only about 10 minutes, so we've got about 8 to 10 hours worth of content here within each mission. So really cool structures, and students love to hear about all these different jobs. Now, the other mission that I did want to show you is that brand new building submarines one. This one is really cool because there's lots of job opportunities. So there are 26 different submarine industrial base suppliers in South Carolina. So when we talk about jobs, there are a lot here. And we're not talking about assembly line production jobs. We are talking about naval architects. We're talking about skilled welders. We're talking about different types of engineers. So students get to see some of these modern day careers or thinking back old careers in a modern way. So it's really cool how we connect everything here. I was going through this with Mr. Mallard at Goose Creek recently, where he got to see, and he's a welding instructor, and he said, oh my gosh, Lauren, all of this is so well connected to what I'm teaching in my welding class. This is reinforcing all of those skills that my students are learning in a more contextualized way. So they're seeing the connections here. Students are learning about robotics and automation. They're learning about welding, machinists. They're seeing all of these skills come in with the Building Submarines mission. Now, to go with our Building Submarines mission and our 12 other missions, we do have an additional 4 online modules. We have Intro to Coding and Intro to AI. And I know I mentioned those fundamentals of computing courses. These align very seamlessly with them. So we do have an Intro to Coding course. It's 20 hours. It is progressive. This is the only thing we ask that you do in order. So this one's really great because it starts with basics, computer hardware and computer software, algorithms, all that good stuff. And we get into some simple coding. And this is the big piece, is that we transition students from block-based coding to text-based coding. And then we also have our Introduction to AI module. This just came out in the fall and it gets an annual update. This course or this module is about 3 hours, but students get to learn all this background information on how AI works. They get to learn how it's affecting our workplace, how it's affecting the future. They learn about how, when you work in the medical field, how AI is being used. They also learn about AI in logistics and all of those fun spaces. And here students also get to learn about AI ethics. Now, some feedback we've heard from teachers on this is that they were able to have so much more effective conversations with their students after they went through this module. It makes a huge difference in the conversations you can have with your students on AI. So this is a great place to get started with those students. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to Sherry, where she's going to share a little bit about some of the different coaching resources we have available to educators in South Carolina.
Great. Thank you, Lauren. And just as a brief intro, as Lauren mentioned, with the different missions and materials available, being in the classroom, it's really good to have some variety for your students. And so it really does tie your curriculum to what you're providing with your students beautifully. So as far as a computer science regional coach, we've had great interaction with educators and students throughout our state. We're almost 3 years into this position. But as Lauren mentioned, there are many things that we do to support what you do, but the loaner program has been a huge success and we are continuing to add inventory, if you will. And here again, this is really just to excite students, introduce students to different topics. And if you have those folks who are more mechanically inclined, giving them some sort of physical device, they can just be that leader and really do amazing things. So it's a really nice way to introduce some of your topics. Professional development, same thing, like in-person, virtual, we're very flexible. Sometimes we host events where you come to us, other times it may be district or individual teachers, but we are just really here to help you be the best that you can and to help your students grow. And then classroom support. like we talked today, just with the Instruction Hub, with Learning Blade and other resources, we are really trying to stay on that forefront to help our students become very not only knowledgeable, but great contributors, hopefully to our state, but definitely to our nation as they grow up. So thank you, Lauren, but lots of exciting things happening.
Yeah, I mean, I get to meet with the coaches every other week and they do amazing work and they're always out there supporting teachers and I love to hear about what they're doing. And then, so lastly, I do have a Q&A here. If you have any questions about anything you saw today, please always feel free to reach out to us. Our job is to support educators. So if you have questions about Safari Montage and the Instruction Hub resources, please reach out to Paige. If you have questions about computer science coaching resources available to you, reach out to Sherry. And if you have any questions about Learning Blade itself, you can reach out to me. And then all of this will also be sent out in an email afterwards with the recording as well. So thank you all for coming and have a wonderful day.